lot of people want the SAVE Act. I want the SAVE Act. I've been fighting for the SAVE Act literally since day one of the administration. And I've seen a lot of people saying, what the hell's the point of voting for these guys if, you've got 3 Republicans joining with the Democrats to prevent the SAVE Act from passing, or I guess 4 Republicans. And here's my response to that. Yes, it is annoying to me that there are only 45 or 46 Republicans who will fight politically to get the SAVE Act passed. But you know what? 10 years ago, that number was 35. So the answer to frustration is engagement. Don't give up on this process. Get more involved in this process and demand more from people like me. That's how we take our country back. I just think it's important to say that.
That's such a good point. How the Senate is such an example, as frustrating as it is, but you were part of that new wave of new thinking, of new energy, a new generation.
Yes.
And there's so many new voices that are bringing real change to the Senate. I mean, we're 1-2 elections away from maybe having it all the way around.
100%. And I understand people get frustrated at it. I get frustrated at it. But it's a lot better than it was 10 years ago. And frankly, 10 years ago, it was a lot better than it was 10 years before that. But here's where we are on, fundamentally, the president set a policy. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And right now, we are negotiating to make sure that very thing happens. And here's, what's interesting about this is... What's interesting about this is that we have this ceasefire that's in place. I think it's 6 or 7 days old. Right now, this ceasefire is holding. And what you're seeing is what the president wants to make, he doesn't want to make like a small deal. He wants to make the grand bargain. And what he's basically offering to Iran is very simple. And frankly, it's something that no president has had the ability to offer. He said that if you're willing to act like a normal country, we are willing to treat you economically like a normal country. He doesn't want a small deal. And that's one of the reasons why, one, I'd say in Pakistan, we made a ton of progress. But the reason why the deal is not yet done is because the president, he really wants a deal where Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, Iran is not state sponsoring terrorism, but also the people of Iran can thrive and prosper and join the world economy. And that's the trade that he's offering. He's saying, if you guys commit to not having a nuclear weapon, we are going to make Iran thrive. We're going to make it economically prosperous, and we're going to invite the Iranian people into the world economy in a way they haven't been in my entire life. And that's the kind of Trumpian grand bargain that the president has put on the table. Man, we're going to keep on negotiating and try to make it happen because it would be great for the world. It'd be great for our country. It'd be great for everybody. So I'm going to keep on fighting to make it happen.
Yeah. Just a few more, and then we've got a few
please.
questions
I know we have
here.
Some questions from the audience, too.
My one question is, when you looked across from these Iranian negotiators, what did you make of them? Did you get the sense that they really were the right people? I mean, I'm assuming you guys know this type of thing, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, you never know. The United States had never had meetings at that level with the Iranian government in 49 years. Wow. Like, it's a meeting that had never before happened. Not Democrat, not Republican. We had never had a meeting like that where you have, the person who's effectively running the country in Iran sitting across from the Vice President of the United States. That had never happened. And look, honestly, after 49 years, there's a lot of course, mistrust between Iran and the United States of America. You're not going to solve that problem overnight. But yeah, I think the people we were sitting across from wanted to make a deal. And I know the President of the United States told us to go out there and negotiate in good faith. That's what we did. That's what we're going to keep on doing. So you never know, though.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've sat across from United States senators that I thought I agreed with, and, you don't know with those people, right? I won't say who. You can guess. But I feel very good about where we are.
Great. All right, so this is the last one from me. Now, a lot of people make a big deal about illegal immigration, and we should. It's terrible, right? And this administration has made historic progress on that issue. I think you don't get enough credit for it, and the problem with immigration, illegal immigration, is once it's not a problem anymore, our memories are about 6 days long, and we move on to the next thing. But what about legal immigration?
Sure.
And reforming it, correcting it, addressing abuses? Because I look around here and I see a bunch of American students that want jobs, that want homes, that want a space in this country, And I think reforming legal is so critical. Maybe talk about some of the reforms that this administration has done specifically on the legal front.
So this is exactly right. And this is 100%, I think one of the first pieces of legislation I sponsored in the United States Senate was effectively to get rid of the H-1B visa, because I cared so much about this when I was in the Senate. And yes, it is the case that Congress has not exactly come along. There, again, to my point about the United States Senate, there are far more people who are sponsoring that legislation today than there were 10 years ago, but it's not nearly enough to get it through. But just through administrative action, I don't think people realize this, the number of new H-1B visas is down about 90% in the United States of America. Like that's something that we accomplished purely through administrative action. And again, it's something I cared a lot about. It's something the president cared a lot about. So, there are other things too. There are ways in which, our visa system is taken completely advantage of. One of the biggest loopholes in American immigration, legal immigration policy, and I'll never forget my debate against Tim Walz, where the moderator tried to fact check me because I said this person is an illegal immigrant. It's like, no, actually, they came in as an asylum claimant. And it's like, if you came in on a fraudulent asylum claim, you are an illegal immigrant, whatever the hell somebody from CBS says that you are. And the asylum process was, there were literally millions of people coming into the United States every single year on false asylum claims. We have those claims down something like north of 95%. So there are all of these things that you can do, purely through administrative action. But for us to really make this stick, look, as much as I don't want this to happen, eventually, hopefully 20 years from now, you're going to have a Democratic president who tries to undo everything that we've done on immigration. That's why we need Congress to codify this stuff. But right now, I'm very proud of what we've done in the Trump administration. Massive reductions in fraudulent visas, massive reductions in fraudulent number of asylum claims, massive reduction in H-1B visas granted. We're making a lot of progress. As I said to you, we want to make more. We're certainly going to make more over the remaining 3 years. But what that means, fundamentally, is you guys deserve to have good jobs. And I don't want, when you graduate from this amazing university, and it hurts me to say that as an Ohio State fan, but this is an amazing university. I think the guy who was screaming earlier, he's clearly a Michigan guy. Just put it on the table. Oh no, we have another Michigan guy over here. But
they did win the Natty. So
yes, that's right. But when you guys graduate from this university, I don't want you competing against a low-wage foreigner for your first job.